Hi, dear friends. Good morning. Welcome back to Akshadare. I'm Devraj. I hope you guys are doing great and learning great and earning great. Today is 28th. Almost we are in the end of the September month. So I hope you guys are following the tips which I have given in the previous videos. I hope those were very useful for you. And before going to start today newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment, so somebody of your friends may utilize the opportunities from the Hakshadari team, and which are all the opportunities we are going to provide, so that may useful for you. So let's start and please share the video and like and comment. If you have any doubts or comments, kindly leave the comment in the comment box. I'll leave the comment in the WhatsApp box, WhatsApp number, so that I can come come back with resolutions. So let's start today's newspaper reading. Yes, friends. So let's start reading the newspaper, today newspaper, and let's see what's in today news. I think it is visible, right? Yes. Nothing in front page, only the film ads. Shahidi Ajam Sardar Bhagat Singh 116th birth anniversary. On his 116th birth anniversary, there is the government tenders which were highlighted in the front before front page. Elderly population to double by 2050 report. Malayalam film 2018 is India's official entry. At least 100 killed in blaze in Iraq. G20's screen over Majdoor's their rights. India missed a chance to ensure labor welfare. SIP to excels as Indian shooters strike it rich. 8 jobs on foreign soil, not India's policy, Jaishankar. Ministers say Ottawa was asked to provide any specific information on Nijaw's death. He says Canada has a very permissive environment for secessionist activity, has also seen organized crime. Manipur government extends AFSPA in hill districts for 6 months. We have given them Canada a lot of information about organized crime leadership which operates out of Canada. Many held as NIA cracks down on Terror Nexus. Tech corridor witnesses massive traffic gridlock. Commuters complained of taking almost double the usual time to reach their destinations. The gridlock was caused by many people up leaving the city ahead of the long weekend. Trevor now cancels shows in city after experiencing trouble with acoustics. Tropic diversions for Eid Milad had a burned Vatal Nagaraj campaigns in cities seeking support. Natural nature walks at Bannerghatta Park. Police tech companies to launch Bengaluru Cybersphere Center for Excellence in the city. One of the objectives is to share information and expertise between the Home Department and tech companies to improve security. Metro Mitra app launched available at Janagara station. Metro services to be curtailed tomorrow. 2-day Kannada Drama Festival. Grand launch announcement. Dharwad Hospital tops in linking highest number of health records. Row over shifting of medical college from Ramnagara takes legal turn. APIL plea filed. Ramnagara MLA has organized a Bhumi Puja program of RGUHS campus today. SDK warns of Singur model protest, urging government to return Excel land acquired for BMIC. The Doddaballapura incident, 23 cow vigilantes arrested. 4 killed in road accident near Bellur cross on Bangalore-Mysore highway. IISc researchers develop power switch to replace traditional silicon-based transistors. Armed gang assaults poll officials, escapes with ballot papers. After confirming the officials were on their way to conduct the elections, the accused allegedly robbed them. Show the way to up living income of coffee farmers, say experts. Living income is critical for millions of coffee farmers who deserve to thrive and not just survive, says Stefania Daniels. 15th annual graduation ceremony of Hatia held. Indian coffee farmers are not adequately compensated. State to challenge the CWRC direction in Supreme Court. Shivkumar says not a drop of water will be released from the KRS to Tamil Nadu. Challenges BJP and JDS leaders to protest in New Delhi, demanding implementation of Mekedatu project. Cross storage at KSR, second lowest in since 2011. Explore tourism destinations with families. Sidramaya, BJP, JDS leaders stage joint protest against government. State delegation meets officials of Boeing, GE, IMF. HC directs state government to conduct a drive to fill backlog vacancies within 6 months. Give up taking loans for extravagant weddings, CM. Tackling Bengaluru's flash floods with sponge city systems, underground storage tanks. So why not let the forces of nature, the push of gravity, and human ingenuity combine to let the excess water settle safely, minimizing human suffering? A task for experts. An evening dedicated to the Vadayos. So IIT Bangalore concludes global valedictorian ceremony for over 5,000 graduates with UP grant. Argentina's history via cocktails. At number 18 on the world number 50 best bars list. Floreria Atlantico by Renato Tato. Giovannoni beautifully honors Argentina's immigration and narratives. Tale told through dance. Kannada play Mukwada to be staged. A mix of suspense and psychology committed to keep the crafts alive. Devegowda defends fact with BJP, says JDS committed to safeguarding minorities. I do not want any certificate for secular credentials from anyone, says the former Prime Minister. SC tax plea against DMK leader Udhayanidhi Stalin. Kerala to move Supreme Court against governor over delay in bills. India forced harder to compensate former DGP for missing parcel. Special PMLA court grants ED custody of CPA councillor. Kerala health ministers stop accused of taking bribe. Telangana BJP to launch election blitzkrieg with a series of public meetings. CJI agrees to list on Naidu's case on October 3rd after judge recuses himself. Principal of Uti College placed under suspension. This is the editorial page guys. Let's look very important for the point of examination. So you guys note which are all the the facts, the business fact what happened in the past. You guys note in the by this article. The G20's screen over Majdoos, their rights. Let's read this editorial page written by the independent journalist. On September 9th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's reading of the final declaration of the G20 summit was a political win for him and a diplomatic victory for India. The African Union was granted a G20 membership, and a sense of togetherness among the global south was palpable. However, there were fears that a joint communique would not be issued as the Russia-Ukraine war was ongoing and the divided interest of the G20 members would affect it. But Mr. Modi made it happen. He softened the language from the Bali G20 document criticizing Russia, kept Ukraine out of the summit, skipped the issue of fossil fuels, read out the 83 paragraphs of the New Delhi Declaration, and symbolically handed over the gavel to Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who will now president over the G20. Unfortunately, India missed a great opportunity to protect worker rights and advance the welfare of workers during the G20 summit. Despite the G20's Labour 20 L20, a coalition of G20 leaders concerned about workers holding two meetings in India. It is a matter of concern that the GL20 was headed by the Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh BMS, a trade union affiliated with the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party. In short, the L20 was politicized. India's choice of the BMS had irked the International Trade Union Confederation, a confederation of global trade unions, and they boycotted the meetings. In the first, the L20 has been headed by the ITUC. However, this time it was ignored and the chair was given to the BMS, which prioritizes right wing politics over workers' interests. This incident itself reveals how serious the Indian government was about workers' issues at the G20. The BMS is not an independent trade union. In the absence of ITUC, the L20 discussed portable social security schemes, data collection for these schemes, addressing skill gaps in two meetings, and had some words on platform workers. An exploitative labor system. The Indian government should have taken the opportunity to address the serious issues facing workers in India, such as forced labor, modern day slavery, and the kafala system in the Arab Gulf, where some 9 million Indians are working under exploitative working conditions. The Arab Gulf countries follow an exploitative labor system called the kafala system, which ties migrant workers to their employers. This system makes it difficult for migrant workers to leave their jobs or change employers, and it increases the risk of forced labor and modern day slavery. By politicizing the L20 with the BMS and ignoring the ITUC, the Indian government missed a chance to make a real difference in the lives of the workers. Portable insurance schemes are important, but they are not enough. Workers also need job creation, decent working conditions, equal pay, gender equality, the elimination of forced labor and child labor, and end to modern day slavery, and the protection of their rights and the welfare of their families. It would have been a relief for the Indian working class, especially in the Arab Gulf, had these issues been prioritized and debated at the G20. Saudi Arabia, which owns over 2.5 million Indian workers, is a permanent member of the G20. Oman and the United Arab Emirates, which were invited to the summit, have nearly 8 lakh and 3.5 million Indian workers, respectively. India is the world's largest migrant sending country with an estimated 13 million workers abroad. Of these, an estimated 9 million are working in exploitative conditions in Arab Gulf. But the exploitation of Indian workers is not limited to the Arab Gulf. In India itself, workers in the number of industries including textiles, brick, nickels, shrimp farming, copper manufacturing, stone cutting, and plantations face forced labor and modern day slavery. According to the Walk Free Foundation, there are an estimated 27 million people trapped in modern day slavery in G20 countries, of whom 11 million are in India. Many would be surprised with the term forced labor and modern day slavery. According to the International Labour Organization, forced or compulsory labor is all work or service which is exacted from any person under the threat of the penalty and for which the person has not offered himself or herself voluntarily. It must be noted that India has signed and ratified the ILO's Forced Labor Convention known as C29. In other words, forced labor is different from substandard or exploitative working conditions. Various indicators can be used to ascertain when a situation amounts to forced labor, such as restrictions on workers' freedom of movement, withholding of wages or identity documents, physical or sexual abuse, violence, threats, and intimidation are fraudulent debit from which workers cannot escape. Not just an Indian problem. My recent investigative experience of forced labor in the shrimp industry in Andhra Pradesh suggests that workers who are paid less are unpaid for overtime under the threat of being fired if they ask for it, are victims of forced labor. Workers who are forced to work until they have paid up a loan they took from the company are Also, victims of forced labors. Companies that withhold a workers' identity documents such as Aadhaar cards or ration cards and deny them access to the documents when required until the work is done are also engaging in forced labor. Issuing the threats of sexual, physical, or mental labor abuse in order to get the work done is also forced labor. Addressing forced labor and modern day slavery is important for India because the exploitation of workers would increase inequality, unstable social justice, and threaten democracy. In addition, we should not forget that the move by the Indian government to consolidate the labor laws into four labor codes is drawing protests from trade unions, civil societies, and workers who allege that it will have a negative impact on decent working conditions. In India, there are 530 million workers, of whom 430 million are in the informal sector, who are prone to different forms of exploitation, especially forced labor. This is not only an Indian problem, all G20 countries face a similar situation. If we do not address the situation of workers, we will not be able to achieve the sustainable development goals targets for 2030, especially the first one, which aims to eradicate poverty. Without decent working conditions, how can a worker earn a living wage and keep themselves and their families out of poverty? The Work Free Foundation also reports that in 2021, the G21 countries imported goods worth 41 lakh crore that were made by workers exploited under modern day slavery. We as Indians do not care much about who made the product. However, we should not forget that products made under modern day slavery will have the sweat, tears, and blood of workers who were forced to work under threat and inhuman conditions to make the products. Subjects not discussed. The G20 should have discussed the investments in job creation, compliance with the promise of the fundamental principles and the rights at work, ensuring minimum living wages and equal pay, a social protection for all with official development and assistance, establishing equality of incomes, gender and race, and coordinating action and inclusion as the basis of a rights-based development model realized through a multilateral reform that deals with the threats to our peace and common security. Unfortunately, not much happened. Workers were ignored just as green curtains were used to screen out the dwellings of the poor that were near areas of G20 summit events to avoid embarrassment about the reality. This is about the post labors drawing the line. Information aids public safety and is not a trigger for panic. The 2 years of Sanatana Dharma, the year inside. So let's read this editorial written by an High Court of High Advocate in High Court. When Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan makes a point out of Sri Narayan Guru not using the word Sanatana as a prefix to Dharma in the name of his organization. The intention is to clearly distance progressive elements within Hinduism from the majority who supposedly follow the casteist Sanatana version. What Mr. Vijayan and other politicians do not seem to appreciate is that no Hindu reformer, including Sri Narayana Guru, criticized Sanatana Dharma or disowned it in favor of any other religion or philosophy. Features that are the most Sanatana. Orthodox opponents of a 19th century reform movements such as Arya Samaj and the Ramakrishna Mission called themselves Sanatanis to emphasize permanence of ancient textual doctrines over dynamism and change as the essential feature of Hinduism, just like the time just like the many voices thus that resisted change right from the time of Adi Shankara to the Bhakti movement. These self-proclaimed Sanatanis also remind on the wrong side of history. What they failed to realize, like some politicians of today, is that dynamism and propensity for reform are the most Sanatana or ancient or original of Hinduism's dharmic features, so which is why the reformers had no qualms in using the phrase Sanatana Dharma to describe their philosophies. In the Satyartha Prakash, Swami Dayananda Saraswati called the Vedic Dharma bereft of many prevailing features of Hinduism, including untouchability and idol worship. Sanatana Nitya Dharma, few can dispute that the proud Sanatani Mahatma Gandhi had the greatest role in the bringing in bringing women into the country's social mainstream. In fact, it was Gandhians such as Renuka Roy Ray and Ansha Mehta who first campaigned for reform in Hindu family laws despite facing stiff opposition. Once again, from the self-proclaimed Sanatanis, their response was not to deride Sanatana Dharma. In the Central Assembly, Renuka Roy quoted verse after verse from the Upanishads and the scriptures to highlight Hinduism's egalitarianism. Any effort to carve Hinduism into progressive and regressive blocks and label the latter Sanatana Dharma cannot overcome the influence and example of two icons of Sanatana Dharma, that is Swami Vivekananda and Subramania Bharati. The import of the Chicago speech before Sri Narayana Guru built is a movement for emancipation of low caste Hindus in Kerala. Swami Vivekananda called the region a lunatic asylum for the kind of barbaric practices Hindus perpetrated against each other. He used every kind of critical epithet to describe the state of Hinduism and its youth. This anger and call for action arose only from his grounding in Sanatana Dharma. Swami Avedananda, Swami Vivekananda's chosen a successor for his international mission, called the Chicago Speech, an outline of Sanatana Dharma. He described the import of Swami Vivekananda's speech. The word Sanatana Dharma, as you all know, means eternal religion. The eternal religion has no founder. By religion, we do not mean a particular set of doctrines and dogmas. By religion, it is not meant that we should accept some of the words written in a book which may or may not be revealed as infallible truth, whether the questions of minds are answered or not. But by religion is meant a solution of all the problems of life and death. It was this Sanatana Dharma that formed the basis of Swami Vivekananda's attack on sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant, fanaticism, which have long possessed this beautiful earth. It is essentially different from any religion that is static by virtue of having a single source. It is different because it is antithetical to dogma. Bharati, an indirect disciple of Swami Vivekananda through his Dharma Putri sister, Nivedita, was equally anguished by the state of material and spiritual debility to which India had sunk during his times. In a poem titled My Heart Seeds, he writes, like blind children, they follow always in this sacred land where once flourished more than a million ennobling odds, like senseless beasts, they now simply subsist. The allusion is to the path of Sanatana Dharma from which Indians have gone astray. For Bharati, without spiritual awakening, there could be no political liberation. It was Nandhanar and Panchali of Sanatana Dharma who were inspirations in his fight against discrimination and oppression. Vain attempts have been made to distance these icons from the Dharmika background. As Sahitya Academy Hawadika Na Subramaniam says, communists were never tired of quoting the poem of Subramania Bhatia and the Russian Revolution, often forgetting or willfully withholding the fact that he attributed to the mother goddess of India as well as of the world. In fact, the Mahakali of the universe, the Russian Revolution, in his quest to make Vedanta practical and meaningful to the lowest ranks of society. Vivekananda did not spare even the greatest of gurus such as Shankara and Ramanuja from criticism. This does not mean he thought outside the sphere of Sanatana Dharma. In respective, recently on September 11, Bhati was remembered on his death anniversary, and the country celebrated the 130th anniversary of the Chicago speech at the world's Parliament of Religions. These were occasions to remind ourselves that Bharati and Swami Vivekananda could espouse Sanatana Dharma in a manner that appears to subvert its own established rules. Only because, as Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan says, Hinduism is not bound up with a creed or a book, a prophet or a founder, but it is a persistent search for truth on the basis of a continuously renewed experience. This is about a little information about the Sanatana Dharma. You guys can read once again if you didn't understand. Let me go to the next page. Timeless quest to Banu sample can help human understanding behind and immediate. Drawing the line, information aids public safety and is not a trigger for panic. From women's reservation to gender equality, Mon Homi to bitterness, the left parties are at a crossroads in Telangana. STs at trial non-STs in 81 health measures, a 2021 study. The study evaluated 129 health indicators to compare the performance of scheduled tribes and non-scheduled tribes. NIA holds searches in 6 states, detains several over terror links. The searches were aimed at dismantling alleged nexus among terrorists, gangsters, and drug smugglers linked to a Canada-based listed terrorist and taking action against international weapon suppliers, financiers, logistic providers. Man lynched over suspicion of theft of banana. 8 jobs on a foreign soil, not India's policy. EAM. Manipur government extends AFSPA for 6 months. Malayalam survival drama 2018 is India's official ASCA entry this year. EPFO likely to give employers extension to validate joint farmers. Employers cite technical delays in the EPFO website as reason for the extension demand. Protesters assaulted policeman in Manipur and touched vehicle. Police. Kage seeks a dismissal of Manipur CM as the state witnesses fresh protest. Huge possibility for India, US to back each other. Jashinkam. It's useful for the US to have partners who frankly think well of this US and speak well of this US, often behind your back. Since the External Affairs Minister identifies technology, defense, and politics as top three priorities for the relationship. High level of military tension with China over past 3 years, Minister. Meta's India team delayed action against misinformation led by Amin J. Hanke. Report 12-year-old girl found bleeding on Ujjain Street. Policeman confirmed rape. Congress leader accused Madhya Pradesh government for failing to provide safety for women. President says investment in urban development has risen. India urging elderly to make up 20% of population by 2050. UNFPA report. A study says the challenges facing India's aging population are the feminization and ruralization of older population, and policies must be framed accordingly. Data show that women on an average have a higher life expectancy at the age of 60 and 80 when compared with men. Stop using newspapers for packing food items. FSSAI. Seeds with multiple tolerance will be a game changer. We need to empower the farming community to help them produce better quality of seeds and maintaining their germ plasm. Market positioning shall help farmers to help better price for these seeds. Indian Navy to unveil Swawalamban 2.0 next week. Vice Chief Maulid Al Nabi. Ultra long G6 to see good demand from insurers, pension funds in GH2. India is set to make its first ever issuance of 50-year government bonds as part of its plan to raise 6.55 lakh crore in market borrowings in the second half of the fiscal year ending in March 2024. Government to also sell 30-year green debit securities. Mercedes shows a limited AMG G63 Grand Edition SUV at 4 crore. Wow. Petrochem firms facing cost pressures, margin erosion. Vedanta falls 6.7% on ratings downgrade. Aurobindo harm Singapore firm signed child vaccine fact. Apollo buys hospital in Kolkata for 102 crore. TRA seeks sessions on connectivity mobile 40. Second tranche of IMF bailout to Sri Lanka may be delayed. Owner of China's troubled real estate developer Evergrande held. Iran says it successfully launched military's new imaging satellite. French ambassador to Niger returned to Paris following tension. At least 100 killed, 150 injured in Iraq as fire engulfs wedding hall. Indo fireworks believed to be likely cause for the blaze. Emergency exit proved inadequate of hundreds of guests trying to escape. Nine staff members held. Warrant issued against owners of the venue. 3 days of national mourning declared. Black Channel talks with China exist, but there is little progress. Tibetan leader Azerbaijan arrested former leader of Nagorno Karabakh. US soldier who crossed into a North Korea is in American custody. Rosivina on the threshold of glory in the Sanda event. Malla Dipendra go berserk in Nepal's record-breaking show. Jihan to race for Maserati next year. Ramkumar and Mainini move into semi-finals, ensure podium finish. The women's hockey team proves too good for Singapore. Al Rashidi shoots men's skeet gold, reveals recipe for success. All of 13, Q is China's youngest gold medalist at Asian Games. It rains medals across the ranges for Indian shooters. Mosh, Maxwell lead Assis walk in the fog. Vishnu Saravanan secures bronze after unpavable conditions have the last laugh. Double delight for shuttlers Sai Fuska and Shaina. Perennial underachiever Bangladesh can cause a stir heart too. Kishan tops the first round of national tap-in bowling. MotoGP to return to India in September 2024. Baumos in bargains hero against Bengaluru. Havaldo expected to score in the Maharajas Cup. Eternal Princess win a civil services trophy. Ground survey as the ICC ODI World Cup is all set to be held in India from October 5th to November 19. An in-depth look at the venues which will host the cricketing extravaganza. Today we feature the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. How can a quantum computer prove that it is superior? In a paper in Nature Physics, a researcher at Google Quantum AI reportedly demonstrated in theory that stimulating a random quantum circuits and determining their output will be difficult for classical computers. If a quantum computer solves this problem, it can achieve quantum supremacy. Biologists in a slow race to help North America's rarest tortoise. The ingredients and processes are used to make paper. This is the last two pages, guys. Text and context page. A little important for the point of the current events and for the banking exams. Premature cancer deaths that were preventable in 2020. 17%. The share of elderly in India is in the poorest wealth quintile. Rise in travel and tourism industry hiring in August 44 in percentage. People to be hit by severe drought in Amazon by year end 5 in lakh. Number of European nations accused of climate inaction. When India Canada ties were reset in 2010, the then Canada Prime Minister Stephen Harper apologized for the Kanishka bombing, which was suspected to have been set up by the Khalistani separatists operating from Canadian soil. Former diplomats say 2010 changed India-Canada relations, reversed now after PM Trudeau's allegations. Why are tigers dying in Nilgiri's district? How many tigers have died? Did they all die of natural causes? Are deaths due to poachers still a common occurrence? What are the measures being taken by officials? Secularism is also to protect Hindus from their own orthodoxies. In his new book, Reimagining Indian Secularism, Rajiv Bhargava argues that secularism should not be seen as a project only for minorities, pointing out that the present majoritarian crisis is a blip. He says that Indian broad historical pluralism will not be easy to dislodge. Lata Mangeshwar, one of the most celebrated singers of India, was born on September 28th, 1929. Here is a quiz on the icon often known as Queen of Melody. Oh, great, great. This is the today news, guys. So please read for next 2 words to make you better in communication. And I hope you guys it would be useful for, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and like and comment. If you guys have any comments or doubts, kindly leave the comment in the comment box. I can come up with resolutions. So anyhow, see you in the next upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.